Hello and greetings. It's me, Mr. Fowler, one last time here for Composition 2 for the Tuesday, Thursday edition, or 3004 to be specific. That is our course reading number. I'm happy that you're able to join me today for this final session. I have a few things to cover as part of the preview and review for this session, as per always. And then just some final thoughts and offers of support to you as we get ready to wrap up this semester. So without further ado, I know you've been waiting patiently and checking in to all these videos. Let's not delay the process any longer. I'm going to lose the video, but you should still hear my voice as we transition to today's PowerPoint. Little technical snafu there of some type. Okay. Well, we're back on track now. As I noticed, or as you noticed, as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, we are in our final meeting today. So there won't be any additional videos that you'll have to watch. And in fact, if you don't watch this one until later, don't feel bad. It's not necessarily a requirement. We'll take a little bit of time to preview what's going on here. And like I said, essentially this will be a shorter session today. I just want to cover one last time some of the basic requirements of the argument and discuss the final for next week, which of course is your second revision. Just as by way of notification, don't forget that the argumentative essay is the key activity that we're focusing on this week, and we're trying to complete that by 11:59 or midnight this Friday. So as of this recording, you still have the majority of Thursday and all day Friday to get that done. And then I'll wrap up taking about an additional 15 minutes just to express some final thoughts or ideas that I have about writing in general and how it factors into life expectations beyond this class and perhaps even beyond college. So my final thoughts would be the title of session 30. And like most final sessions where students meet with their instructor, it'll be a shorter or more abbreviated course session, trying to wrap up essential points and ideas that we've been discussing in large part throughout the entirety of the semester. First and foremost, though, as a bit of review, don't forget that the argumentative essay, once again, is due this Friday by midnight, so that would be December 4th. It doesn't quite feel like December as I look outside and see the bright sunshine beating down on a snowless plain, but you know what? Every once in a while, that's all right. I'm sure there will be plenty of snow and festive delights before this month is over. But until we are ready to fully kick back and engage in the wrap up of this year, we've got to wrap up this course, which means focusing again on that argumentative essay. So the large scale or larger scope of the argument essay is a project that's asking you to demonstrate your ability to develop a thesis, number one, and then also to present that thesis with persuasive claims and support. In terms of the special details for this specific assignment, it's weighing in at about 1,250 words or roughly 4.5 pages. In order to help you generate that amount of text, I have recommended that you use 4 documented sources that you're going to take care of and address both in the text in a parenthetical sense and in a formatted works cited page in MLA style, or a references page in APA, should you choose to use that format. Now, the other piece of material that I went over earlier this week was the second revision. Remember that at the end of your writing process, you will have completed 3 assignments: the ad analysis, the persuasive essay, and then, of course, this Friday, the argumentative essay. On Tuesday, or perhaps even earlier, you can begin the process of looking at these essays and revising them. You just have to select one, either the persuasive essay or the argumentative essay, and revise according to grammar, stylistic concerns, including in-text citations, and overall formatting. Revision number 2 will be due next week and will act or stand in as the final for this semester. We don't have a final assignment nor an exam, but rather a final paper where you're able to revise and complete the overall paper writing process. And using one of those 2 projects, the argument or the persuasive essay, is a great way to illustrate your control of that process. So this revision will be due on or before midnight on the 11th of December. That's Friday night. Now, the reason I need it turned in then or before then is because grades are due about 6 o'clock on Saturday the 12th. So you may see your grade posted or visible sooner than the 14th, which is the following Monday. However, not every instructor will be able to have everything graded and accounted, and some will have it done maybe as soon as the end of this week. But I don't know what all of you have to face in terms of schedule and so on and so forth. So just realize that even though I'm asking you to turn your revision in by Friday of next week, just note that it may not be necessary for all of your other classes to submit work. I hope I'm not the only one that's haranguing you in this way, but I suspect I'm not. The other question related to peer revision 2 is whether or not you would like a peer review to enhance your revision process. If you wish to do a peer review, there is still, I feel, adequate time to facilitate that, but you will need to let me know what essay you're planning on peer reviewing, and then I will assign a peer review partner. But that means that you will be responsible for holding up your end of that bargain in reviewing another student's paper for the purposes of revision. So if that's an option you are interested in, let me know so that I can facilitate that for you. One last thing that's not noted here, but that has come up with a couple of different students in both this section and my Monday, Wednesday section. Some students have gotten really good grades on both the persuasive essay and the argumentative essay. And they said, I really don't feel that I am sure which of the 2 I should revise, or if I should, or what I should revise on either of them. So if you got a perfect score on both the argumentative essay that's due this Friday, and you had already received a perfect score on the persuasive essay, I invite you to take the same measure that those students did, which is that I would just have you compose a reflection on which of the 2 assignments, the argumentative assignments or the persuasive essay, was the more difficult of the 2 assignments, and why you felt that they were difficult, or why it was the most difficult assignment that you faced this semester. And I would just ask for a 300-word response to that process. However, this isn't something the majority of you are going to need to worry about. One of you, or most of you, will have a very clear choice in which essay to revise. And even if that choice is a little bit less clear, there's almost always something that can be perfected from one version of an assignment to the other. So if anybody else comes up with that conundrum, now you know how to respond to that as well. And if you've got questions or concerns about that, as always, you can contact me vis-a-vis email or reach out to me through our student discussion. Also this week, my virtual hours will remain the same. I will be essentially available to you for virtual conferences and to answer questions and respond to concerns from about 9:30 in the morning till about 4:30 in the evening. Note that I will probably be busy grading some papers as they come in. So if I don't respond in like 20 minutes, it may be because I'm trying to push ahead and complete the grading of a paper. So don't worry about that aspect. I will get a hold of you. So just give me a little bit of extra time if I don't have an immediate response. Once again, final grades are due at 6 o'clock on Saturday, December 12th. So 6 in the evening, which means grades should be posted and visible by December 14th, if not sooner. Please don't hold your other instructors accountable for my potential misunderstanding of how the grades will be made visible. I don't know if someone's going to stay there the night of December 12th to make sure everything is processed correctly and distributed to students. My guess is that that's not the case. However, I have been wrong before, and there may be occasion for someone to go in on Sunday, December 13th, to make sure everything is properly processed. However, I think the earliest potential time for the majority of your classes would be the Monday, the December 14th. Okay, that's it for my preview and review. At this point, you have the essential information. Now, whether or not you want to watch the rest of the video is up to you. It's just a quick rundown on some of my final thoughts. So it's not essential to the course. So if you want to exit, you can do so now with no harm, and I would bid you a fine rest of the year. Okay, if you're still with me, that means that you wanted to stick it out and go through the rest of this presentation with me, and I appreciate that. So in terms of my final thoughts, I just want to generally say that I think writing is a skill that goes beyond composition 1 and 2 at Kishwaukee or whatever college that you choose to attend. It's really a skill that sticks with you and that you take with you throughout the rest of your life. And to that end, I would suggest that you continue to foster the development of your writing skills because they can be very helpful in a number of ways. Ironically, for those of you who are strong writers already and can already rely on that set of skills to enhance your higher ability, you realistically may not receive too much additional praise for that skill or talent. In fact, one of the strange issues revolving around the topic of writing as a skill is that when it's good, it's taken for granted. So when you're a good writer, your writing is taken as a measure of what's expected of you, even though it's a skill that we work for many years to refine and to perfect. Good writing seldom gets excellent praise. And that's by design, as it says here, right? If you're doing your job effectively, your audience shouldn't know how good of a writer you are. But the flip side of that, of course, is that bad writing is almost automatically and immediately recognized and can actually influence others' perceptions of you, even though that may not be a fair estimate of who you are as a person or your intelligence. a series of simple grammatical errors or mistakes in formatting will get you some pretty strange looks and a very negative reaction, right? And we see little Calvin here from Calvin and Hobbes making some of the same errors. He says, I used to hate writing assignments, but now he enjoys them because he realizes that the purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure poor reasoning, and inhibit clarity. When we all know, in point of fact, that the purpose of writing is to build upon strong ideas, clarify reasoning, and provide clarity. Right? He said all the opposites of what writing is supposed to actually do. He goes on to say that with a little practice, writing can be intimidating and impenetrable fog. We don't want that for our readers, and I certainly hope that you don't feel that your writing is an intimidating process and impenetrable fog for others to decipher. And of course, we complete the comic with this ridiculous title that his pal, the fictional Hobbes, reads: The Dynamics of Interbeing and Monological Imperatives in Dick and Jane, a study in psychic trans-relational gender modes. And of course, Calvin feels very good about this, saying, Academia, here I come, or Academia, here I come. He's probably going to be hoisted upon his own petard here. So for those of you who don't feel that writing is a skill that you've necessarily mastered, or it's something that you don't necessarily feel is imperative beyond an academic setting, I have news for you. There are lots of reasons to continue to practice good writing and to enhance your extant writing skills. The first and foremost of these is that it very well may be a requirement. As you can see here, effective writing skills help you to convey your message accurately, and the desired results may be attained through your writing skills. And even if there is no need to regularly write in the workplace, don't underestimate the importance of being effective when the task does call for a written response. In addition to writing sometimes being required, or often, I would say, even being required, good writing lends a sense of credibility to you and your character. In life, you will find that no matter what the profession that you choose to pursue may be, that profession brings with it a necessary mastery of certain soft skills, of which clear writing is definitely one. You can gain a lot of credibility and influence the results of your workplace and the efforts of those working with you if you can persuade them through good, solid writing. Writing is also a key to professional development. More often, you will find that those who are good communicators, and more specifically those who are effective writers, are going to gain good experience and enjoy more exposure within their specific professional organizations. Good writers are also often good leaders, because leadership, as you can see here, typically involves a whole host of different attributes or abilities, not the least of which is trying to motivate and give constructive criticism to a team of coworkers. So writing is one of the best ways through which you can perform all of the listed functions that you see here, and do so with a sense of clarity and style. As you can see, writing is a very valuable skill, but you don't have to take my word for it. It would be in my best interest, wouldn't it, to promote how important writing is? Well, believe it or not, businesses are actually spending billions each year on remedial writing training for their staff. you probably won't need to do that having completed some work here at Kishwaukee Community College. You'll have, or you should have, some of these basic skills well in hand by the time that you leave the college. But a modern workplace that requires employees to spend hours a day drafting emails or writing reports or interacting via some form of written communication with clients, even twits or tweets as they are. Sorry, I guess they're tweets, right? Not on Twitter. They're not twits. Twits are a bad thing. But tweets that you can post on Twitter or posts on Instagram, all of those kinds of things that you can use to interact with a larger audience or client base are perceived better if they are carefully constructed and well written. By contrast, once again, weak writing skills can actually be quite a hindrance to the growth of a business or the advancement of an employee within a business or a professional field. But we still have to ask, do writing skills matter? According to Grammarly, after a study that they conducted of 100 people who had professional profiles on the site LinkedIn, a job service site, the answer is that yes. Specifically, they noted that in comparison with two groups of writers or two groups of employees in a 10-year period of time, those who received only 1 to 4 promotions actually had an equivalent number of higher grammatical errors, 45% more. By contrast, professionals who were not as frequent in terms of making an error or had more precise writing with more muscle and verve tended to be promoted 6 or 9 times. So there you go. There are some dramatic and very obvious pieces of evidence to suggest that, yes, of course, writing matters. So after extolling the virtues of writing, I hope that you take something of merit from this class and that your time has been beneficial to you. Now, as our journey closes, I just wish that you would reflect for a moment on the fact that even though we've come a long way and that we've learned a lot, the best is still yet to come. Well, we've made it. That's the end. I wish you all the best. And I'll return to video just to say that it's been an honor and quite a pleasure to have each and every one of you as a student. And I hope, like I said earlier, that your time in this class is valuable. I really enjoyed getting to know each one of you. And I hope that you're able to take something away from this position, looking backward toward the beginning of the semester as a whole, and that you take that information with you and that it continues to be valuable as you pursue your interests and your goals in pursuing the rest of your education. You can always reach out and contact me if you have questions or concerns about papers and other courses. Next semester, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of embedded tutoring, so you may need to reach out to me and I may be there whether you need to speak to me or not. You can always rely on Mr. Fowler. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks once again. I'm encouraging you to think critically, stay healthy, and get plenty of rest. Take care, folks.